Welcome back to the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. I'm very thrilled that our guest is here today. He is a pro athlete that's been seen in Bravo, Fox, and Fit Media. He's the founder of the Quarter Inch Club. He's the co-founder of the Models Trainers Personal Training Program. And he also has over 190,000 Instagram followers. So please help me welcome Nick Topel.
Well, that's quite an intro. I'm actually not that cool. I'm a pretty normal guy. So thanks for having me, Jacob. I appreciate being on the show.
You're so welcome, Nick. You're also one of I think you're a rising fitness influencer. So I wanted to talk to you. So I'm very grateful that you made time out of your schedule to talk with us.
Appreciate it. Yeah, anytime.
All right, so let's get started. So when did you get interested in fitness and how did that passion evolve into desire to pursue a career in bodybuilding?
Yeah, so great question. I've always been athletic. Ever since I was little, I was a swimmer. So I took up swimming maybe when I was 6 or 7. At the same time, I was doing like the Little Kicker soccer league. So I always had kind of my hand in the fitness realm, so to speak. And I was a swimmer all the way through high school. And my senior year of high school, I ended up I broke my back. It's kind of a long story, but I had like a stress fracture to my L5 vertebrae. And so it's a unique injury that I wasn't going to heal from it. So I could kind of do whatever I wanted. And so I swam my whole senior season in high school with a broken back. And at the time I was getting recruited to swim in college. And after that senior year, I was like, yeah, you know what? I think that's enough swimming for me. Kind of maybe move on with my life and try some different things. So I didn't end up swimming in college, but that first year, being in college, not really being dedicated to a competitive sport, I really missed that competitive atmosphere, being able to kind of focus my energy towards something productive, and especially because I was used to it my entire life up until that point. So I noticed that I was really interested in the gym and lifting weights. And at the time I was getting more into nutrition as well. And I was on social media and had some really cool people that I followed. And I was like, well, why don't I take that same energy and apply it to kind of my time in the weight room? And I'm like a real analytical thinker. So I just kind of applied I'm also an engineer. So I kind of just took the engineering approach, data analytics, and just applied it to bodybuilding. And it took off. So I competed and did a few shows, and I got my pro card, and it kind of took off from there. And that's kind of right when my social media started blowing up too. So it was an interesting journey. I've always kind of been in fitness, but it kind of fell off for a little bit and then evolved into a cool career for me.
Awesome. So have you thought about going back and competing? Because I know that I have a lot of friends who are in either WBFF or FBB, and they have their pro cards, but they still go and compete. Have you thought about going and jumping back into competition mode?
I've thought about it before. Kind of the bodybuilder in me, like, the original hardcore bodybuilder in me always wants to like pack on as much muscle as you can and go, get back on stage. And it's a cool process, but I don't think it's really in my career path right now anymore, because I've diverged. I do a lot more fitness modeling, and that look is the look that does well on bodybuilding as a bodybuilder is not going to do well as I could be doing in the fitness industry. So you kind of have to pick which one you want to do. And right now I'm just doing a lot more quote fitness modeling, that kind of stuff. So I would love to compete again, but I don't think anytime in the near future. I'm going to have to pack on some more pounds and train up the whole change up the training schedule and everything. But never say never. But right now, no, I'm not planning on stepping on stage anytime soon.
I totally understand that and I applaud you for doing that. So also I'm glad you brought up fitness modeling, because that's what I was going to ask you next. So when you decide, okay, let's get the fitness modeling onto my resume?
Another good question. So I competed at the NPC National Championships down in Miami a couple years ago. And right after literally the day after I competed, I ended up doing this really famous photographer, Luis Rafael. He's kind of like the guy who discovers all of like the next up and coming fitness models. He like Jeff Side, for instance. I don't know if you know Jeff Side, but he's one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the first guys who shot Jeff Side, so he's got a really awesome resume. So the day after I competed at the national championships, I went to go shoot with Luis Rafael, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just kind of trusted him that he would, make me look good and show my photos to the right people. So he helped me get started there. And once I kind of got a glimpse of the power and the reach and the influence that you can have in kind of the fitness modeling community, I was a lot more interested in that. Just because the bodybuilding niche it's very particular. You're kind of just speaking to one or two personalities, one or two types of different people, whereas the fitness modeling is a lot more mainstream. It's broad. A lot of people enjoy kind of the healthy look. And so he kind of showed me that. And once he put my images out on the internet, then, just a lot more people started reaching out to me, and kind of the brand deals and the audience just kind of grew from that one opportunity. So I wasn't really focused on it until somebody just kind of pulled me along and said, "Hey, let's take some photos." So.
Awesome. So who are some of the top role models in the fitness industry, and how did they influence your career?
That's a good question. Steve Cook, if you know Steve Cook, is one of my the OG role models, one of my favorite people on this planet, in terms of the fitness, everything that he's done with the fitness community. I really look up to him, everything that he's done with his brand, kind of all the moves that he's made to get to the point where he's at now. He started off doing the same thing, in terms of, he was one of the original men's physique Olympia competitors, like one of the original pro men's physique guys. And he just kind of has this all-American, lovable, nice guy look. So obviously he's a good bodybuilder, but he shares his lifestyle, and he vlogs, and he travels the world, and he does cool things, and he enjoys sports. And now he's kind of branching out, creating some fitness brands and things. So I really look up to him. I have for a while. He was actually the first guy he was the guy who convinced me to compete. I met him at the Arnold Classic a couple of years ago, and I had a nice talk with him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I think he was like, yeah, you got a great physique. I think if you carved it up a little bit and stepped on stage, you do really well." So he's one of my OGs. I always like him. I would stay up to date with what he's doing.
I think it'd be really cool if you guys were on if there was a generational thing with you and Steve on men's physique or men's fitness or something, cover men's fitness or GQ. That would be incredible.
Yeah. That would be a lot of fun. That'd be like a dream come true for me. I'd be a fanboy for sure.
Yeah. I totally understand. I am definitely a fanboy of almost all the people I interview. So it's very hard for me to contain myself when I have a lot of different people when I'm in front of people that I've literally watched on television and I'm huge fans of, and I interview them. So it's okay, you got to stay the professional side of it. So.
Yeah. And so I have two, actually a few role models. So I wanted to mention Steve. And then, so Steve is a little bit more heavily planted in the fitness industry, and the I lift weights, follow my weightlifting program, let me be your trainer. Then the other guy I really look up to is Pietro Boselli. And so he's been another guy that I've been following for a long time. And I really like him because he's on more of the fitness. He's on the modeling side of kind of the fitness industry. And he's intelligent. He's an engineer, just like I am. And I just I like the polished brand presence that he has created for himself. So he's kind of has this sleek European, almost a little bit of an exotic. I'm super interesting and nice, but every once in a while he's just oh my gosh, look at that guy. He's a superstar. So I like kind of the merging of two, but I really like what Steve has done, particularly with his fitness career. And I like what Pietro Boselli has done with his fitness modeling career. So I try to I kind of take bits and pieces of both of those and try to blend it into my own brand.
Awesome. And I'm so happy to see your brand rise, especially through Instagram. But however, you must have faced a lot of challenges along the way. So what were those challenges, and how have you overcome those obstacles?
For building my social media, or just in the fitness industry?
Standing out in the fitness industry, because that industry like the journals, like my industry, and also all the entertainment industry, all those industries are very competitive.
Yeah, I have a lot of comments on that. I find it very interesting. The social where a lot of the world is going right now, it's all online, it's social media. So social media in a sense is like your living resume. So you'll notice like a lot of the major modeling agencies, they'll have people listed and they'll have a direct link to their Instagram followers, and they'll say so-and-so has, 190,000 followers on Instagram. So getting started in the fitness space, I think to do well, you need to have a social media following. And that's kind of difficult because it's saturated. And I've had a few people ask me like, what's some advice that you would give to get started building a brand? And I kind of speak from experience, things that I had struggled with. And particularly the industry is very saturated. So to do well, I think you need to, and this is what I had discovered and to figure out how to do. You need to figure out exactly what it is that you offer that's unique, that nobody else is doing, right? And why would somebody want to follow you and not the 10 other people who are doing the exact same thing as you? And then once you kind of identify that, that's the brand, that's what you're selling. And so for me, I started off as just kind of like the Joe Schmo, like the guy on social media who just like posts his workouts and like thought everybody was like totally into how I was training today and like what I was eating. And I realized that there's a bigger picture to that. Sure, people like, they want to know like what you're doing and how you're training and like how you're going about it. But the way that you're going to build your brand and they're going to get them to stay is by communicating your personality and kind of showing a much more well-rounded perspective of kind of what's going on. So I actually stopped posting like the swipe through posts on my Instagram of like, hey, this is my workout today. This is my workout today. And I post a lot more of like inspirational, like physique things. And then I would get on to my, I'd get on like my Instagram live or my IG story, and I would just like talk to all my followers and just like answer stupid questions and like funny things and like just tell them about my life. And so what I had figured out was I was actually becoming like Nick Topel, the fitness model, or Nick Topel, the influencer, or whatever. I was just selling Nick Topel. I wasn't selling Nick Topel's workouts. I wasn't selling, Nick Topel's diet plans. I was selling Nick Topel as the brand. And so I think, and that's what makes you stand out from all the other guys who are just only posting like workouts or only posting, hey, use my discount code, or, or things like that. So that's something that I definitely learned, is you got to identify exactly what makes you unique and then sell that.
I agree completely, and I think it's better to have that conversation with your followers and to build that because in all honesty, the followers are your community. And once you grow that, and if you have the same photos and same stuff that you post, you're not going to get a lot of traction.
Yeah. And I will say that brings up another good point. So once you kind of have your brand, like what you're selling, then the next step is really is like, how do you promote it, right? How do you get the name out? So there's a lot of like cross-pollination of audiences. So I would always try to shoot with like as many different photographers as I could. One, because you get access to kind of a portion of their audience that isn't following you. Right? So every time you show up on somebody else's Instagram, there's more people who didn't know you existed, and they go follow you. But these photographers, in the fitness modeling industry, these photographers, they kind of have their brands, their flavors, the way that they shoot or produce images. So by shooting with, all these different guys, you get different looks, you get different kind of flavors added to the profile, so to speak. So that's another thing that I focused on, was just trying to diversify the audience, connect as many dots as possible.
Awesome. So I gotta say this: you are definitely really cool when it comes to your fitness entrepreneurship, because you have. I want to talk to you about a lot of your programs. We got to start with the Quarter Inch Club. So, yeah. Can you describe this program to my audience?
Sure. So this is a fun project. This is a cool culmination of my fitness career, because this is a personal project. I was contracted to work with this brand, Lifting Labs, and they had reached out to me because I had been using their products for a long time. I mean, like years, and I was always tagging them on social media. And like, hey, we're going to create this new program. We want you to be the face of it. We want you to write everything. Like, we want to partner with you. I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. Like, now they're going to put me on. I've been using these things forever. Now they put me on the front. So what the Quarter Inch Club is, it's a it's a 60-day arm training challenge. And the challenge is to put a 1/4 inch of size onto your arms in 60 days. And it's actually a really realistic goal. And I truly, strongly, firmly believe that you can put a 1/4 inch of size on your arms in 60 days if you actually follow the program, do what you're supposed to do. And so I went out to Las Vegas and I shot this this project with these guys, and created all the workout programs. So there's like video instructions and tutorials where I kind of talk you through exactly what we're doing today, how to program your nutrition, how we're going to rearrange all of your other training to only focus on to packing on arm size. And so it's like, we call it like the 1/4 inch club. We're not sure exactly how far we're going to extend it to the other muscle groups, but kind of the driving idea, the concept behind it is, I see a lot of guys in the gym. Everybody wants big arms. I mean, for like vanity purposes, and just because like, it's fun to have, big set of pipes. And I see a lot of guys screwing it up. They just don't know how to. They have the intent, they have the best intentions, they have the work ethic, but they don't know how to put it all together. So that's what the 1/4 inch club does. It shows you how a professional bodybuilder, fitness model like myself would come into it saying, okay, I need to add some size on my arms for like a shoot or a show or something. This is how we're going to do it, and you can follow along with it. And so it's a program that addresses like a pretty common problem in the fitness industry. So it's pretty cool, and we've had some like really good results, like transformations already. So
That's incredible, and congratulations on that. Now, for me, I haven't been in gym because of the whole pandemic, but I would love to try it for my audience who are a little concerned about not going to the gym but want to try it at home. What would you recommend? And
for working out at home?
for the 1/4 inch club, yeah.
Oh, for the 1/4 inch club? Well, the 1/4 inch club is going to be, it's really designed to be used at the gym, because you have to use some equipment. There's some concepts that you can take with you at home. I would recommend, honestly, so if you're looking to work out at home, another thing that I would just look at is my actual personal training brand, the Model Trainers, where we offer like online coaching and some kind of off-the-shelf products similar to 1/4 inch club, but a few of them are designed for like at-home workouts and things like that. So I think in just generally speaking, knowledge goes a long way. So if you just kind of understand what's going to drive your success with fitness, then you can adapt that. You can adapt that to your particular setting, so to speak. So you don't kind of get derailed if you end up in a spot where you don't have a gym or you don't have the foods that you're supposed to eat that day. So
Awesome. I would love to hear more about Model Trainers Personal Training, because this is your 2021 will be your 4th anniversary, and you co-founded it with Sean Alexander, your fellow fitness model Sean Alexander, and you also brought on Jonathan Abraham. I'm sorry, Jonathan, if I messed up your last name, and Ali Lee, and the 4 of you are developing a very strong social media following. So how does Model Trainers Personal Training stand out in the fitness industry?
Yeah, so Model Trainers has been around for about 4 years. So I wasn't the one of the co-founders, but I came in as a managing partner a couple of years ago when we were getting into the online space. So I come from an engineering background where I do like large scale project management. I just came in and I talked to guys. I was like, hey, online training, this. It's really a big project management discussion. I'd love to help you with this. I've got some crazy ideas, and I worked really hard on kind of like the online programs. And then they just decided that, it was worth it to kind of bring me on as, a co-owner. So we came into it, and Model Trainers originally started as kind of like this elite group of these in-person trainers who kind of service the elite socialites of New York City. And then we started seeing this like really great results and understanding that there was a much larger demand for everything that we were doing across the world. And then we were also blessed with this incredible resource called social media, where we had, a large Instagram following that we could disseminate all these programs and information to these people. So it started off as personal kind of in-person training, and then it expanded. So now I work on it just about every day with my co-owner, Sean Alexander. He's a really good guy. He's our CEO. And so we're working on a bunch of different angles right now. It's a pretty cool time to be part of the company.
And congratulations on all your success.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're just getting started with Model Trainers in terms of like the big picture stuff. So hopefully much more success to come. And if you don't mind, I actually do want to mention our newest program that just came out.
Oh, awesome. Is this a Jake's Take exclusive?
What's that?
Is this a Jake's Take exclusive?
Yeah, I would say within this may be the first thing that kind of publishes actually talking about it. So we just produced the Model Trainer Evolve program, which is specifically it's a fat loss. It's a lifestyle program. It's a blueprint for your lifestyle designed to help you lose fat and gain muscle. And the premise is that there's no reason why you can't copy. A lot of people, like I said earlier, a lot of people struggle with putting it all together to find results. And there's really no reason why you can't copy professionals like myself and Sean and our coach Jonathan and Ali. There's no reason why you can't copy exactly what we're doing in the gym and in the kitchen to enjoy the same results and success. So it's a 12-week program. And you can get it directly on our website. And so when you sign up, of course, you get like the diet and the training, like boom, take it off, print it, do whatever you want with it. But we also give you over 90 pages of comprehensive course content. And it's about 4 hours of video instruction. So like me just talking to the camera, just like this, just talking about like all the concepts and kind of what drives success. And the idea is that we're not just giving you the fish. We're also teaching you how to fish. So of course you get the program, but then we're going to empower your success to be successful long after the program is over. So that's something that we're like really excited about. We've been shooting Facebook ads and everything for like the past 6 months. We just launched everything. So hopefully it goes well.
I cannot wait to hear more about this program as the year goes on. But one of my loves is reality television. So you made your appearance on Fox Ultimate Tag. So why did you decide to compete on that show?
So I really didn't want to do it. To be honest. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm interesting in the sense that I'm outgoing when I need to be. I'm a confident person, when I need to be, but I'm also like I'm kind of I'm an introverted extrovert. So I'm like kind of shy. I don't like to be on television that way and put me on the spot to like answer things. So I really was, and I'm like a pro bodybuilder, so I'm not like super athletic in the sense that you're jumping around and swinging on things and running away from people. It's like, guys, I'm like 200 pounds. I can run fast in a straight line. That's it. So I wasn't really, I wasn't like super interested in doing it, but they had reached out to me and I was like, okay, I'll give them a chance. And I kept talking to them, and then they kept interviewing me and giving me to the next round. And then one day I got an email and they're like, hey, we'd love to bring you to LA to shoot the show. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I guess I have weeks to go out there and do that. But it was nice. It ended up being really great. I got to meet all of the Watt brothers, JJ Watt, TJ Watt, and their other brother. It was just cool. It was my first time in Burbank. They shot it in the Warner Brothers lot out in Burbank, which is like really cool. And I got to meet some incredible athletes. A lot of people who were much more athletic than I was. So it was interesting how they shot the show. It was a cool experience to be a part of a production like that.
I know. I'm glad you did that. But have you thought about going on other fitness shows like American Ninja Warrior, the Titan Games with The Rock, and not to mention the Challenge?
I've thought about the Titan Games. I get requests for these, like they kind of just send out like mass requests to like all these. If you kind of like fit the bill, they're like, oh, maybe we can get this guy, or oh, maybe we can get this guy. So I get a lot of requests. I'm not necessarily super interested in like the fitness, like competition shows, so to speak, but I'm not necessarily opposed to more of like the reality TV. I've had a lot of they've tried to get me on like Love Island the past 2 seasons. I've got messages about like Big Brother and like Parties in Paradise and a bunch of other ones. So I think if I were to do a reality TV show, it would end up in kind of maybe one of like the love reality shows, which I would be a total goober on because I'm super awkward.
Who knows? So we got to move on to social media, and you really use Instagram, but have you ever thought about other platforms like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube? Why or why not?
I have. I've thought about Twitter. I think Twitter can be dangerous sometimes. You say the wrong thing without thinking, all of a sudden it's out there on the internet. Um, and that's maybe not necessarily the reason why I haven't used it, but that's definitely a reason to dissuade me from like trying to build a massive Twitter following. It's just like another system for me to use, and I'm kind of good at what I'm already doing. So I've considered Twitter, but I haven't gotten on there before. YouTube, I've had a lot of requests, and I think we're going to try to create a YouTube channel with model trainers. Kind of like as more of like a central like media hub for all of the exercise information, and we'll house a bunch of our like program ads and other things too. But I have considered YouTube, and we will probably start creating a strong YouTube presence in the near future. I have a lot of friends actually who run massive YouTube pages. Like one of my really good friends, Scott Herman, who's on the
I am so glad you mentioned Scott. I
Yeah.
have interviewed Scott so many times. He is
Oh,
one
he's
of
a
the
great
coolest guys on the social media, and he's like the fitness older brother I never had.
I'm sure everybody says that when they meet up. I felt the same way. He's like the brother I never had, the father I never had, just like the best friend that I never had. He is just so cool. And when you meet people like that in person, it's like, oh, no wonder he has a massive social media following. It's just because like you just gravitate to those personalities. And he was one of the first resources that I used, like getting started with my fitness career. So now it's cool to like be on like sponsored on the BSN team with him. Like I was on a call with him the other day, for instance, talking about some new products and things. So he's a good guy. He's invited me to come down there and train with him in Orlando. And I'm thinking maybe if we get a little more serious about this YouTube thing, I might pick off get some good tips from my guy, Mr. Scott Herman. So
You two, seriously, on one video would explode YouTube.
oh yeah, we would have some fun. We would have some fun. He's a riot. And the best thing about him, he's a bro. He's a nice guy. He trains hard, but he's also like a fatherly figure that gives really good advice. So I'll just be talking to him about something, and he'll just flip the switch and be like, Nick, I really think you should be doing this, and this is my experience, and those guys suck, and you really need to be doing.
Scott Herman is one of the best in the industry, and one of the top in when it comes to virtual fitness. And I'm very grateful to be friends with him.
Yeah. And if you ask him too, he's very particular about this. So a lot of people, so there's fitness YouTubers, right? He is very particular. If you ask him what he does, he says, I teach fitness on YouTube. He says, I'm not a fitness YouTuber. He says, I teach fitness on YouTube. And he absolutely does. He's like one of the original guys. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So we got to start winding down this interview. So if you had the opportunity to meet with people who are struggling on their fitness journeys, what advice would you share with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the biggest thing to realize is that you're not gonna in one meal, in one workout, in one day, you're not gonna do anything that makes or breaks your success. So you don't want to be walking around on pins and needles all the time. You got to understand that it's a bunch of small upfront investments that accumulate to create like an actual change. And everybody gets like, yeah, nutrition, exercise, fitness, it can be very complicated, but it doesn't need to be. And for most people, I want to say most people, like 98% of the people, you just stick to the basics and they're going to follow, and it's going to bring you home. And it's consistency. Consistency is the name of the game. So you got to be doing just a little thing every day. You don't eat healthy one day and wake up the next day with a six pack. So just focus on the fundamentals: calorie balance, eating the right amount of calories per day, and exercising on a consistent basis. That's what I would say. And the other stuff.
That was very good advice, Nick. Now, guys, to download more episodes of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, head to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Just type in Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. Also, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Head to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Type in Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. Now, if you want more articles and more interviews, including my several with Scott Herman, and also my reviews on music, head to jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. Nick, Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I'm so happy for all of your success, and I believe that 2021 and beyond will be great years for you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Feelings mutual. It was really cool to be on here. I'm glad you asked, and wish you the best success too. Stay safe and healthy.
I will. You do the same. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, have a